Good morning. It is always so lovely to see you. This morning I have got a lot going on in the kitchen. I am going to be making as many meals as I can, and I've allocated about an hour this morning to get all of this done. It's about an hour before my family wakes up and they all come into the kitchen and there's breakfast happening and there's coffee being made and all that kind of thing. So I want to get this done so quickly so that I can get the dishwasher on and then get out of the kitchen with my own coffee. I've also got a really busy afternoon this afternoon. I'm planting out a whole lot of pumpkins that I have been growing in egg cartons. So if you watched one of my previous videos, I planted seeds that were absolutely free because they just came from homegrown pumpkins that I had years before. And they are all ready now to plant out. All the roots are coming out the bottom of the egg cartons. So that's going to be exciting. So when I get back this afternoon, I am not going to want to cook dinner. Same with the next day and the next day and the next day. I've decided that I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time in the evenings cooking meals, especially when we've had a long day or it might be hot or we've got other things going on. So let's see how many meals we can get made this morning before the family gets in here, before everything gets busy. And then I will know that my freezer is stocked with nutritious, delicious meals for whenever I need them. When I do big cooking mornings like this, I always make sure that I'm super prepared because otherwise I will literally stand in the kitchen completely overwhelmed, and it will take me twice or sometimes 3 times longer than it should to cook some simple meals simply because I haven't been prepared. So this morning when I got up and I made my eggs for my breakfast, I put on a pot of mashed potato. So I've already got the potatoes all cooked. I just have to mash those up, done. And I've printed out 2 new recipes that I'm wanting to try, and I've written my other recipes that are my own. And I've got some of the ingredients out already. So super organized. It's going to make it take, I don't know, hopefully about an hour. Let's see how long it takes. I have got this new recipe I want to try. It sounds delicious. Next level chicken pie. The recipe calls for homemade pastry, but I'm going to cheat a little bit today because we have got a lot on and I don't want to overwhelm myself when I'm doing this. I don't want to put myself off doing this next time. So I have just bought some ready rolled pastry sheets. Easy peasy. No stress in the kitchen today. I've also got a Mexican mince that I'm going to make with about a 500 gram lot of mince that I need to use. That's going to go in the freezer and I can just take out portions whenever we're wanting to have burritos or quesadillas. I think I'm saying that right now, quesadillas. In case, we're wanting to have like just a quick, easy meal, I can take those out. We're also going to be doing a new recipe that I've found that sounds so simple. 5-ingredient pumpkin lentil soup. And that is going to be a great way to use up some pumpkin that I've got. And it fills out with lentils as well, making it nice and budget friendly. I'm also doing an island lime chicken marinade as well, which will just go in the freezer for easy barbecues. I'm doing my classic fish pie that I do all the time to have in the freezer. And I'm also doing a sumac and orange chicken. So if you haven't tried sumac before, it is so delicious. It has a lovely sort of like a citrus flavor to it, and I'm going to mix that with some orange marmalade. Delicious. Okay, so let's get started and make our first recipe. Okay, so I'm going to start with my fish pie. I'm making a double fish pie, so he's going to be huge. And I'm going to start by chopping up my onions. I did say that I was going to process a whole lot of onions in my new Ninja Detect. Have not got to do that yet, neither have I done the garlic, so that will be coming as well. That would make these kinds of things so much easier. But anyway, let's go and chop up some onions, and I'm going to start with a simple white sauce in here, and then I'm going to poach my fish right into the white sauce. While my onions are cooking, I'm just going to nip out to the garden super quick. My daughter is going to oversee this, so I'm not leaving it unsupervised. And I am going to grab some nice green things out of the garden, some herbs and some spinach. So come with me. The garden is completely taking off. I love this time of year. So I'm going to pick some of this beautiful spinach that is really coming away. I was going to grab lots of dill for the fish pie, but there's only going to be a little bit there, but we'll just have to make that work. I'm also going to grab some sage and I'm going to pop that into our beautiful chicken pie. Okay, those onions are looking really nice now. I'm going to add my flour and go ahead and make my white sauce. And I just realized that the other recipe we're doing, the beautiful chicken pie, also has the same process to start with the onions. So I'm going to go ahead and get those on as well, and they can be cooking away while I'm making my white sauce. Look at all these beautiful herbs we got from the garden. I can't wait to use those. They smell so nice. Now I really need to use this big pot for my soup that we're going to get on next. So I'm going to transfer my mashed potato. So onions are cooking away. I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken to this soon. But right now I've got this nice white sauce and I'm just going to poach my fish in here, and then I'm going to pop the lid on, put it on a very low heat because we've got milk in there and we're poaching on a low heat, and then that can just simmer away while we're doing everything else. Okay, I've diced all my chicken up and I'm going to pop that in with the onions, and that will cook down as well for our pie. So I have got my onions all diced in here, ready to go. I've diced them up nice and small because I don't want to worry about pureeing this soup. I think the recipe calls for it to be pureed, but I think it'll be nice just with the, the different textures in it. And I've taken the seeds out of my pumpkin and the skin off. Don't forget, you can dry your pumpkin seeds and then you can grow free pumpkins from them, which we love doing here every single season. So popping my beautiful orange pumpkin in here. And behind me on the stove, we've got our chicken and our onions going, which was meant to be leeks, but that doesn't matter. I had onions. And I've also got my fish poaching away there as well. So we're feeling relatively organized. The next thing I'm going to do once I've got this soup on is I'm going to start on the Mexican mince. And that can sort of, cook away on the stove as well at the same time as everything else. Do you ever find it really hard to cut a pumpkin? Because if you do, if you're struggling to cut up your pumpkins, you can heat your oven and pop your whole pumpkin with a few pricks in it, so it's not going to explode, into the oven and just cook it. Not right through, but just cook it so that it gets nice and soft. And the skin on your pumpkin will just come off so easily, and it makes it super easy to cut. So our soup is on. I've got some lovely red split lentils in there as well, so that's just going to bubble away. And now we can get our Mexican mince all ready. So straight into the fry pan, I'm going to go ahead and put my red onion. You could use different colored onion, but I'm going to use red onion for this beautiful Mexican style mince. And to make things easy, I'm just going to put the mince, I'm going to put the onions, and I'm going to put my beans straight into my fry pan and then just start it off that way. That's going to save heaps of time and cook down together. So the beans that I'm using are a 3-bean style mix, but you can go ahead and just use whatever beans you have on hand, plain old kidney beans, anything like that. And I'm going to go ahead and drain them first, pop them in, and then I can put them on the stove. So our next level chicken pie does call for some thyme, which I don't have in the garden. So instead I'm going to use these lovely sage leaves that we collected earlier. And some of these are huge. Let me just show you. Look at that one. He is huge. So we're going to use the sage, which I think will be really nice with the chicken and with the mustard in that pie. And I'm also going to put in a couple of good handfuls of this washed baby spinach that we got from the garden as well, because it doesn't really have a vegetable in this pie. And if I do it this way, I'll kind of feel like I don't need to add a vegetable later when I'm serving the pie, which will be amazing. And I've also diced up all this fragrant dill and these fragrant chives as well. I'm going to pop them in the fish pie, and that is going to be amazing. So we've got our Mexican mince that's simmering over the back there. Let's see how our chicken's looking. Beautiful and cooked. I can tell when I push my spoon against it, the chicken is just falling apart. That's just what we want. And then our fish pie, we will know when the fish is cooked because it will just flake. It will just fall apart like this. So I'm going to go ahead and add my herbs, and I'm going to add some frozen mixed vegetables to this as well. I've got some white wine that I'm adding to our chicken, and I'll put some mustard in here in a moment as well. I wish you could smell how good this pie filling smells. It smells incredible with the sage and the mustard, the white wine, all that onion. I can't wait to try this. Okay, let me show you what we've got going on here, because I did have to pause for a little while. One of my family members woke up unexpectedly early and wanted breakfast straight away. So I am back. I had to pause everything and I'm now back. But it did give me time to get the dishwasher all stacked up there. So that was good. So we're looking much tidier in the kitchen. So this is our fish. This is this beautiful, beautiful fish pie, and it is all just going to flake apart. So I did add some mustard because I had forgotten to do that, and I feel like the secret ingredient to a white sauce is mustard. It just gives it the lift that it needs. So that is just going to flake apart. So I will continue doing that. This is the filling for our next level chicken pie, and it is divine. Don't know if you noticed before that I had forgotten to put the spinach in it, so I did put that back on the heat, got the spinach in there, added a little bit more cream, seasoning, tasted it, and it is divine. It is so, so nice. I don't know if it's the white wine in there, but it is mouth-watering. I'm tempted to add mushrooms in there. Maybe next time I might try that. I think that would be really nice as well. We've got our soup here. Let me move this so you can see. So this is our lentil and pumpkin soup, and it's got ginger in there. And I did say to you that I was not going to blend this. I was going to leave it chunky, but it is quite chunky. You can see all of the lentils in there and all the onions and whatnot. So I think I'm going to maybe just use my stick blender and give that a whiz so it's nice and pureed. I think that would be much nicer. And then we've got, let me move this. We have got this fragrant Mexican style mince with all these beans, onions. We've got cumin in here. We've got paprika. I've got some chili powder, and I will of course share that recipe with you as well. So this is going to be perfect to put aside, put smaller portions in the freezer for when we are craving burritos. We can put that into a nice burrito with sour cream, some guacamole, some grated cheese. I like to crunch some corn chips in there as well, so that's going to be perfect. So now I'm going to get on to making the pastry for our pie so that I can pop that in the oven. Dinner will be done tonight and for another night as well with that pie, so let's get on to that. So I'm just popping my pastry in, and of course you can go ahead and you can make your own from scratch pastry if you like, but I'm just using this today. And then I'm going to put this in here, and I'm probably going to make this large family pie and maybe a couple of smaller ones. We'll see how we go. Now that I've started, I think that this is going to just do one family and one smaller. So we'll start with that. Okay, so there was just enough to make one family size and a smaller one. And this one is just going to be perfect for gifting or for just taking out for a Sunday lunch. Now I'm just going to do a light egg wash and pop them in the oven. Okay. So I've just filled up some containers with our lovely Mexican style burrito mince there. I'm going to put that aside, and now we have got our fish pie, which I've made so much of, and it's all beautifully flaked. And we're going to put this in a big family dish, and this just goes in the freezer until I need it, one of those emergency nights. And then I'll do some smaller ones as well. Just grated some cheese. I don't always put the cheese on the fish pies before I freeze them because it can just be added later. Millie's just having some cheese off the floor, aren't you, Millie? Because I dropped some, her favourite food. But putting the cheese on now and freezing it like this will make things so much easier on the night that I just want to grab something and pop it in the oven. These little containers are reusable and they can go in the microwave. I will probably take them out rather than microwaving them, but yeah, they're a really economical way of making easy meals. So these are all ready to go in the freezer, so I can put those aside. So I'm going to make a couple of meals for the freezer now, some quite big ones, because I've got this massive haul of chicken breasts that I've cut into schnitzels, and I'm going to package these up, put them in freezer, and then whenever we're wanting a beautiful chicken for the barbecue, I will be able to grab that out, easy peasy, all done. And I'm going to start with our sumac and orange chicken. I'm going to put in about a half a cup of natural probiotic yogurt. This will help break down the fibers of the chicken and make it so beautiful and tender. Paprika, about a tablespoon, a good tablespoon of that. Then I've got my sumac. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of that in as well. Good amount of salt. I'm also going to pop in a really good, maybe like a quarter of a cup of this orange marmalade. It's got all the little orange pieces in there, which is perfect. That will add a sweetness. And now I'm going to add half of this chicken, so it's probably about 6 chicken schnitzels. And I can serve the sumac chicken with rice. I could serve it just on the grill. We could have it with a nice fresh salad, some couscous even. Okay, here we go. I'm going to wash my hands. Now that my hands are clean, I can do up the bag. Give it a mix up. And then I'm going to label it for the freezer. Yum. So this next one I call Island Lime Chicken. It is so, so, so delicious. I can't get enough of this. And we're going to use this lovely fresh lime juice. Well, it's not fresh, it's from the supermarket, but it is just as good as fresh lime juice because it doesn't have any sulfates in it. And I had to search and search for this because so many lime juices have sulfates in them, which we just really don't want. Probably going to put, what would that be? A quarter of a cup of lime juice. I'm going to add a tiny bit of ginger, like a teaspoon of ginger. I've diced or sliced up a red onion. I'm going to put that in there as well. This way it can just go straight onto the grill and I don't have to do anything else. It's super ready. And then I've also got probably a half a tin of pineapple juice, and I'm going to put the full rings in here too, 4 rings, so that when these go on the grill, these will just kind of caramelize and even they can start to fall apart. It'll be so yummy. Okay, I've washed my hands so I can do up our bag. This is a ton of chicken. This is so good. And you might think, gee, there's too much liquid in there. It's all going to like fire out onto the barbecue. Don't worry, because the liquid can stay in the bag when we put these on the barbecue. And then we can baste the chicken with the leftover juices so that it just stays nice and tender throughout the whole cooking process. And again, this would go lovely with a nice, like a nice rice salad, or what else would I do with this? I could do a vegetable bake to go with this, but if we're thinking barbecue, I'll probably just stick with a salad. A rice salad would be perfect, maybe with some sliced capsicum in it, a little bit of, oh, I know what I've forgotten to put in here, coriander. So I'm just going to open this back up, whoops. And I didn't have any fresh coriander in the garden, so I'm going to just put some of my ground coriander in here. So whoopsie daisy, that is just me not reading my own recipe. So I want to have about, probably about a tablespoon of coriander in there, because it is, I'm just going to go ahead and put the whole lot in. There we go. Because it is a lot of chicken. So if you've got fresh coriander, yay, that would be amazing in there. And then of course a nice rice with some extra fresh coriander over the top. Lucky I remembered that. And that can go straight into the freezer. That was so much fun. I love these mornings in the kitchen when I get to create lots of different recipes, and knowing that I won't have to cook for a really long time is going to be amazing. These are going to fill up the freezer. We're going to have the beautiful chicken pie tonight. We're going to pop these in the freezer, so we've got heaps of food that we don't have to worry about cooking in the future. So let's have a look and see how much we were able to create in just over an hour. As you can see, there is so much food all ready to go into the freezer, except for our chicken pie that will stay out for tonight. We have got lots of servings of our pumpkin and lentil soup, and I did decide to puree that in the end because I just felt like it would be so much better, and it is. We've got a smaller next level chicken pie as well, and we've got our fish pies. These are going to be like for 1 or 2 servings. They're going to go in and be perfect for lunches or just a dinner for 2. And then we've got our marinades. We've got our orange sumac chicken, and we've also got our island lime chicken, which is one of my favorites. I can't wait to have that one. So just in a short time, we have created at least 30 servings of food here, which is going to keep us going. And they all smell so incredible, and they all will taste amazing as well. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you will join me again. I love it when you are in my kitchen. I'm going to put the links to the recipes that I used in the description, and I'm also going to put the recipes for things like my marinades in there as well, so you can go ahead and enjoy them.